First family, the First Lady, and the President dance with members of the military. So that sounds like a bit of a nicer event. But 35,000 people, by no means an intimate party. As we continue to watch the President and his motorcade making the trip from the Capitol back to the White House, this is the front of what will be a long parade, 2-hour parade, that will process by the White House and be reviewed by the First Family from a bulletproof reviewing stand. And we can hear the screams of the Obama fans, some of them, as we saw just moments ago, chasing the motorcade as it drives very slowly down. I believe that's Pennsylvania Avenue, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and the presidential limo, nicknamed the Beast, is crawling its way up. I was surprised. I guess I remember that you could sort of see the president through the window, but apparently you could see him really pretty well.
Yeah, he was waving. And that's a proper phalanx of a police escort there. The screams audible even from that camera high above the scene there. Now, the parade itself, you have to buy tickets for, and so this is not just a public event that anybody can come to?
You have to get tickets for. I don't know that you have to buy them. I think it was one of those
events. I know
events.
In the Carter years, I think to get a seat, you had to spend the money.
There are 28,000 seats along the route, but there appear to be people sort of free roaming as well. I don't know if that's behind the seats. Yeah,
that's right. And as I think I mentioned to you, given the security, the odds of you getting to your seat, are dicey, because if you take a wrong turn, you won't be in the purple tunnel of doom like as it happened to the Obama, but you will be trapped. You will be unable to get past the security. It is, I have to tell you something. It has been progressively more disheartening. I've been to 5 or 6 inaugurals, and they get more security tight every single time.
Well, look at these. Listen to these statistics. I was reading them off before. I don't know what I've done with them, but the statistics in terms of security are extraordinary. 13,000 military and law enforcement personnel, SWAT teams, biochemical response units located at key spots along the parade route and the mall, snipers on the roofs. They've got satellites trained on the area, surveillance cameras throughout the city. They've got undercover police and federal agents infiltrating the crowds. They are leaving nothing to chance. I mean, they've got 4 years to prepare for this every cycle, and I imagine a lot goes into it.
Look, I understand it, I get it, but if you've been around Washington as long as I occasionally have, you really do understand how fundamentally the city has changed in that.
And it is not only the threat of assassination. In the 1880s, after 2 presidents had been assassinated in 20 years, you could still just there was no gate around the White House. You could still walk up and present your card and request an appointment with the President of the United States. And this was after the country had been roiled by a civil war and had 2 presidents, not only Lincoln but Garfield, assassinated. So like Jeff, I understand the cause, but I grieve over the consequences.
Well, the closing of Pennsylvania Avenue in front of the White House, and then another noticeable security measure, which is when I came in to cover the White House for the first time in December of 2000, there was not a mobile missile battery on the top of one of the office buildings adjoining the White House, and now there is. And it's this looming dark green vehicle that you can see really pretty easily from the street. And it's just a reminder. I mean, I think for me more so the fact that you can't really go down Pennsylvania, and you can as a pedestrian go down Pennsylvania Avenue with the closing. That was a real blow, I think.
During the Carter administration, I was doing a magazine piece in my pre-television days about the young men and women around Carter. And I visited a friend in the executive office building, that wedding cake building right next to the White House, and then I started walking the halls looking for some old friends. And just, and there was no issue. Nobody came running out saying, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm looking for whoever else, not you."
No, but
the point is, over time, this is the layer upon layer of security has really made Washington, I think, a fundamentally different city.
And again, you can understand the logic, but as you said, you grieve for the consequences.
Yeah. There's just something about going, having to go through a metal detector to see your representative is, it's a sea change.
It doesn't make you feel closer to your government.
At the same point, what has actually surprised me and encouraged me is, despite the metal detectors at the gates, how easy it is still for just an average citizen with no credential to just walk the halls of the congressional office building. And it is, as the branch of government closest to the voters, it is actually impressive how much Congress has still, to this day, resisted the security mania that is afflicting deputy assistant secretaries of commerce. But United States senators will walk down corridors, and it is the one thing that really makes me, for all their dysfunction, love Congress, which is the accessibility.
We've got some guests standing by in our D.C. bureau, Robin Bronk and Tim Daly of the Creative Coalition. Hey guys, can you hear me?
Hi.
Yes.
Hey, so tell me about the Creative Coalition. What do you guys do?
I'm Robin, and I run the Creative Coalition with Tim. The Creative Coalition is a nonprofit public advocacy arm of the entertainment industry. We were started 25 years ago by Christopher Reeve, Ron Silver, Alec Baldwin, and Susan Sarandon, specifically to use the power of entertainment behind issues of social importance. As all of us know, entertainment can educate as well as entertain, and we harness that power to serve the common good.
Hi guys, Olivier here. Tim, it's nice to see you again. I'm wondering your thoughts on in the aftermath of the Newtown tragedy. The president has called for research into possible linkages between violent entertainment and real world violence. I'm wondering where the coalition comes down on this, and how you feel about organizations, notably video game companies, that cooperated essentially with the Biden task force.
Well, the Creative Coalition doesn't have a position on this. I personally believe that that the first order of business should be examining the accessibility to guns. But I do think that entertainment and video game companies should be part of that discussion. I also think that it's notable that there are many other countries in the world that have all the video games and all the entertainment that we have, and yet they don't seem to be experiencing this kind of tragedy.
But it's sort of like, again, speaking for myself, it seems like it's a deflection. And every time there's some sort of tragedy, at the end of the day, it seems like that the easy target, if you will, is entertainment. And one of the things we do work on is something called media literacy. And that is, we really hope that the schools will educate children in being literate in the media, because this is the first generation of children who are exposed to hundreds of television channels, thousands of video games, and infinite number of internet sites. How do they figure out what's real and what's not? And it's our job, it's the parents, caregivers, education system to educate those students in what is real and what is not. And that's something that is big, and because we are very strong on the First Amendment and very strong on creative expression, we think it is a right and responsibility of the parents, the caregivers, our citizens, to be educated in the media.
Hey, Tim and Robin, let me ask you just a lighter question. I should have said at the beginning, Tim, huge fan of your work in Wings and Private Practice, which, by the way, airs on ABC, so a pleasure to have you there, have you here on both of those fronts. Let me ask you about the celebrity presence in D.C. for the inauguration. I know that the Creative Coalition hosts a ball. How large a Hollywood footprint is there in D.C. for this event?
Well, it's for our event, it's quite large, and I know that there are many other people here who are involved with other organizations. So I think it's pretty big. I think that it's an exciting time, and certainly it's no secret that a lot of people in entertainment support President Obama.
Robin, how has the Obama administration done in terms of funding for the arts? How do you rate his performance over the first 4 years?
You know, it's an interesting question because the president, in many of his speeches, has talked about the arts and the efficacy of the arts, and certainly Michelle Obama and her support of cultural America. Look, since the 80s, no matter who's in office, arts funding has gone down. And what our job is, as members of the artistic community, as members of the business community, is to see arts funding back to in the shape where it was 20 years ago. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, I'd also like to point out that in President Obama's beautiful speech that he gave today, he referenced how our schools need to teach